Why are you so against this culture of the amateur?
I'm against.
Challenge.
No,
You're challenged.
I'm against the cult of the amateur.
The cult, yeah.
I'm against this, as I said, this fetishization of innocence. The notion that the less you know, the more you know. Jimmy Wales said it very famously. The guy.
The Wikipedia.
The Wikipedia guy. He said, "I don't trust a Harvard professor any more than a 15-year-old kid to put up posts on Wikipedia." Now that's a strongly ideological statement. What he's saying is, even if you've had 30 years experience studying a subject, zoology, philosophy, theology, you don't know any more than a 15-year-old kid. That's the cult of the child, the cult of the innocent. It's Jean-Jacques Rousseau in a sentence, and it's very dangerous. We have to acknowledge that some people know more than others, that some people are more skilled than others. You've been in the journalism, the TV business for 30 years. I trust you more to pull off a competent interview than some kid we drag off the street. I trust someone who's been teaching at Harvard or Cal for 30 years to know more about God or theology or philosophy or Nietzsche than some kid who just picked up a textbook about philosophy. We simply have to make those calls. We may be uncomfortable. It reflects, again, all these ambiguities and paradoxes of our democratized culture. But we have to be willing to make calls about professionals. It doesn't mean that professionals are more moral, better. It doesn't even mean that they're better citizens. But it does mean that they know more and that they're more to be trusted. And if we do away with that trust, then we lose curation, we lose media as a reliable source of information and entertainment.
Is culture, as we know it, threatened?
Well, threatened is a big word. On the one hand it's threatened, on the other hand it's good that it's threatened because it's being challenged and it's forcing people to be creative. And out of the revolution you're getting some really smart, creative people. When I wrote my book I was a little pessimistic. I'm more and more optimistic. I think that this movement, whether you call it Web 2.0 or even Web 3.0 now with new real-time sources like Twitter, it's actually throwing up incredibly creative people. The challenge is making sure that those creative people are discovered and paid. The one constant in history is talent. Doesn't matter whether it's the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, 21st, 20th, 19th century. There's always talented people, smart people, creative people. The challenge in a media economy is to find those people, polish up their product, and make sure that they can monetize it, make sure that they can make a living. What I don't like in this cult of the amateur is this idealization of genius, that it's fine not to be paid because art or creativity or journalism is so important that you can do a real job in the day and you'll sacrifice yourself. I loathe the notion of personal self-sacrifice. I loathe the idea that we shouldn't be economically rewarded for our labor, for our creative labor. And one of the ironies is that a lot of this discourse, a lot of this ideology is coming from wealthy software guys. Like Dave Weiner, the guy up the street, the guy who invented blogging. He says people shouldn't be paid for blogging, which is fine because he made a ton of money selling his software company, so he can afford to sit at home and give out free blogs. But for a 20-year-old kid or a 30-year-old guy who has a family support, they can't work for nothing. It's absurd.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Para saber mais sobre essa entrevista, elogiar ou criticar, entre no nosso blog na página da Globo News. Lá você também encontra o link para a entrevista que o Andrew Keane fez comigo.